What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. We got the Week 9 recap, some really good games, and some really shockers. What the heck was that? And exactly. And if anyone didn't know or wants to know what happened in the Titans-Rams game, Sunday Night Football, this is basically what happened.
10. Jacobs releases. Ball from behind, knocked away. It was a big hit by Roche, the rookie. It's loose and a fumble, and the Giants have recovered.
Impressive. Bridgewater, Gregory coming on the rush. Block, going deep, gunning it deep for Patrick. He's got it for the touchdown.
In this game for the Falcons, who had an 18-point lead, and the Saints have scored 19 consecutive points.
29-yard attempt. There's no way for the Saints to ice him. Here we go, Kenny.
This is for the win from 29 from the right hash. Koo's kick is good.
See past 71. It's a 29-yard attempt. Matt Overton will snap it. Ty Long will hold it. Hopkins looking to put this one away. The approach sweeps the leg and knocks it through for Long. For a touchdown. Mahomes chased. Gary didn't get there. Pass caught. First down, Kansas City.
And let him go to work. They have no problem making him have a one-on-one matchup on the perimeter.
Rolling, throwing it, overthrown, and it's intercepted. Picked off, and look out. This is Justin Bethel. Can they catch him from behind? They will not. Touchdown, New England.
They give it to him. They give it to him on 2nd and 10, and he breaks a big one. He might take it all the way. As Chubb takes it to the end zone for the touchdown. Flares out, and Stafford gets spun
Tyrod Taylor going out of bounds, and just throw it. He flicks it. He's in bounds on the play.
Look at the top of his head.
of the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as we update this.
What's up, Dad? Hey, Dad. What's good? Oh. Hey, did something come in the mail today? Did something come in the mail today? Oh. Because something came in the mail today. I did. These nuts?
And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. We got the Week 9 recap. How many games? Let's see. We got 12 games to do, so that's going to be fun. Of course, 4 teams are on a bye. Washington 2-6, Bucks 6-2, Seahawks 3-5, and the Lions who are winless at 0-8. So let's get right into it. This is not the first game we're going to be doing. Okay, we're going to do Falcons Saints. So, this was actually a super good game. The Saints were really bad in the first half offensively. Their defense wasn't great either. They were kind of stinking it up. Came back in the second half and played really well. Matt Ryan was good the whole game. Neither team ran the ball really well. I'll show you the Saints. No one really ran the ball that well. Final score is 27-25. Young Oku kicked a game winner. He was just all around a good game. 5-3, 4-4. The Falcons are actually looking pretty good. I can't put them above average because they haven't gone over 500. The Saints, they've kind of played like an average team. They lost at home to a team that's pretty inconsistent. But the Falcons have really surprised me this year. They're playing a lot better than I expected. Don't know how long it's gonna last, but we'll see. The Saints, on the other hand, they're gonna struggle. I'll just put it that way. Think they could win some games. It's just gonna be really tough with the Bucs and the other fact that they do not have a quarterback and they do need some help. So either way, but for the Falcons offense, they were awesome. Run the ball, no turnovers. So they tried to run the ball in the first quarter. They could not run the ball, but Matt Ryan showed up. They did not turn over the ball. Matt Ryan had 3 total touchdowns. He had a good running touchdown. 23 of 30, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really good game. Cordero Patterson has a huge catch for them. Olamide Zaccheaus had 1 big touchdown for them at the end of the game. And then he had another one in like the first quarter. So yeah, their offense, I gotta admit, they get a plus. They were phenomenal. Yeah, they didn't run the ball well, but they were moving the football. They were doing what they needed to do. It was a good all-around game. Saints defense, like the Falcons defense, I wouldn't say they were perfect. They weren't as good as they were last week, but they weren't really that bad. Like a sack, pretty good. I'll give them an underscore. They weren't great, but they were pretty good, and they were playing a pretty struggling offense, so I can't give them a great grade. They were good though. Saints, their offense was Trevor Siemian. He was not bad at all. 25, 41, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was kind of what I expected. A little inconsistent, but he had a good game. Alvin Kamara is going to keep struggling to run the football. He's going to probably the whole year. Wouldn't surprise me if he runs over 1,000 yards. But he hasn't gotten many carries towards the end. They were behind by a lot, but if they can give him more carries, I would really like it. Their offense wasn't bad. I'll tell you that. They just weren't great. Alvin Kamara had a pretty good game receiving. I'm going to give them an underscore. They just weren't great. Their defense wasn't bad. They picked it up really in the second half. They had 2 sacks. They did give up a lot of yardage, though. I'll give them an underscore. They were okay. I think they could have played better, but I wouldn't say they were bad. So yeah, that's gonna be it for that game. Next game, we're gonna go to the Broncos versus the Cowboys. I really don't want to talk about this game. The Cowboys got blown out. Pretty simple. The Broncos defense was absolutely phenomenal. Final score is 30-16. Broncos go to 5-4, so they're looking good. They finally beat a good team. Cowboys fall to 6-2. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't anything special, but he wasn't bad. Both teams ran the ball remotely okay, I'd say. But either way, the Broncos won 30-16, double digit. They had a huge win for them. Yeah, the Cowboys just didn't show up. Neither did offense or defense did. So yeah, their offense gets a plus. They did score 30 points, run the ball, then play action. A lot of play action. Tim Patrick had a huge touchdown. Jerry Jeudy had a couple of big catches. He looked really good. They didn't run the ball. They ran the ball really exceptional. It was Devonte Williams. Melvin Gordon was actually pretty good. 3.8. Yeah, maybe not that good. He had some bad plays at the start of the game, but then he started getting going. So yeah, their defense though was awesome. They had 2 picks. They only had 1. Whatever. I think they had 2 picks. They had 2. Jonathan Cooper. He got to the quarterback. He was the only one to do it. But yeah, I'm gonna give them a plus. Yeah, like they didn't meet what I wanted them to do. I was like, oh, big task. But the Cowboys offense is pretty bad. But I'll give them a plus. Like 3 sacks was hard. They almost got that. Stop the run, force turnovers. They did force a turnover. They did stop the run. They did play a really good game of football. Yeah, 3+ sacks is hard to do, so I'll give him that. Dak wasn't very good. He was really, really inconsistent. Under 50% completion is really bad. He was just, I don't know what to say. Like, he wasn't getting the ball downfield. I'm not surprised. I am surprised, but Dak has games like this every once in a while where he just plays bad. So, then you look at Zeke. They only ran the ball 10 times. That's because they were behind, but their offense gets a minus. Next time, they're going to have to start running the ball again. That's their formula. Defensively, they were pretty bad. Yeah, they did get 4 sacks. It was just like, a couple of them were at the end of the game. They weren't very good. I'm giving them a minus. Were they bad? I wouldn't say they were bad. They just weren't good. They weren't getting the job done. Some big plays. It just wasn't very good. Trayvon Diggs was awful. So, yeah. Next game was, say the least, it was pretty bad. Patriots, Panthers. Sam Darnold's a bust right now, if you ask me. He's looking so bad right now. He's just looking really bad. For a couple reasons. It's not all on him, but he's not looking good. Like, when Mac Jones only has to throw the ball 18 times, he wasn't even that good. There's a problem. Ramondre Stevenson ran for 10 for 62. They ran all over them. Yeah, Damian Harris maybe not because they were expecting it, but other than that, I wouldn't say it was bad. Their offense gets an underscore. I wouldn't say they were bad. They just weren't very good. I was not impressed. The Carolina defense was awesome, though. They were really good. They did get 3 picks, a pick 6, sack. They played good football. The Patriots defense was awesome. Like they've been against the Jets, and Sam Darnold. They play against Sam Darnold. Either way, Sam Darnold was awful. Their offense was terrible. I don't really know what else to say. I can't unless you score like 40 points off field goals, which is not possible. You can't really get a plus. So yeah, they were awful. Christian McCaffrey wasn't really there. He didn't have any burst. He did get open on a couple of plays though. He had some big catch and runs, but that was about it. Their defense was actually really good. 2 sacks, pick. They had like a couple times they were in the red zone. They got an interception on it. I gotta admit, the Panthers defense was really good. They weren't perfect. They only gave 17 points though, and they looked really good. Kind of like a team we're gonna do last. But either way, their defense gets a plus. They played good enough. Definitely well enough for them to win. Next game, Vikings Ravens. Okay, for the Vikings, this game was nuts. I watched the whole game. Well, I watched the end of the game and I rewatched it later. Either way, the Vikings, this game was awesome. The Ravens, I gotta admit, they weren't very good. They played well, just not very good. They won 34-31 in overtime on a just-in-time game winner. They're 6-2. Vikings fall to 3-5 for the second straight season, so not that great. Their end of the game management was horrible, but I gotta admit their offense was pretty good. Kirk, he was okay. Like, they just ran the ball super well with Dalvin Cook. He had 17 carries for 110 yards. They did not dominate the possession game. They weren't awesome, but when they had the ball, they were scoring points. They're getting a plus. They were awesome at times. The Vikings defense, I'm not giving them a minus, but they were out there for how many? It was like 80, it was 90 plays, I think. They had 2 sacks, 2 picks. They weren't bad. I gotta give them an underscore, though. They were just out there way too long. It's not all on them. Even the best defenses in the NFL every year, unless you're like the 85 Bears, you're not going to be able to survive that long. And as a result, they did break in the end. For the Ravens offense, it wasn't that. It was just sloppy. Like, Lamar, he ran for 120 yards. So, like, I can't really say anything else on that. He didn't throw that great. He did throw 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, though. They were bad picks. Devonte Freeman was a running machine. Same with Le'Veon Bell. They ran the ball super well. Lamar, he's just got to be a little more consistent. I'll give their offense a plus. They were really good. They could just run the ball all over. Partially, when you can run it that consistently, you're going to get points. You're going to keep running the ball well. They were good. Ravens defense was awful. Stop the run. They did not stop the run. They did come up clutch. You know, I'll give them an underscore. Both teams did not play bad football. The defenses weren't good. They weren't awful. Like, the Vikings just couldn't get it done. And the Ravens could. Their offense kind of picked it up. But it was just a really weird game, to say the truth. It was a really good game. But they just couldn't get it done. Just put it this way, the Ravens defense held, and as a result, they ended up winning. So yeah, next game, so this game was an absolute blowout. Like, Baker went 14 of 21 for 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb was 14 for 137, 2 touchdowns. Pretty simple. They got torched. They were awesome. They were really fun to watch. They put up 41 points. They had a pick 6. The Browns were awesome. They did get the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones a couple times. They didn't. It just felt like, I think 6 of those incompletions were to Jarvis Landry. No, 4 of them were. 2 of them were to the other receivers, but they definitely got the ball to the receivers. They played an awesome game. Defensively, they were phenomenal. They had 2 They had 5 sacks and 2 picks. They were awesome. Pick 6. Bengals, no offense, you just didn't show up today. Their offense, Joe Burrow wasn't great, like 28 of 40, 282 yards, 2 picks. Joe Mixon actually ran the ball pretty well, when you think about it. Like, he didn't run the ball that much. He kind of got ignored, but he wasn't that bad. Jamar Chase, not a great game, not a bad game, just not a great game. That's what I want to say from the Bengals offense. They weren't bad, they just weren't great. I gotta give them a minus. So they only put up 16 points. Bengals defense stopped the run, forced turnovers, hold the offense. No, they were awful. They could not stop the run. They weren't awful in the past. They just stunk. You can't give up 34 points and expect to win a football game. Most games. Okay, this game, it's pretty simple. The Jags offense was awful. The Bills offense was even worse, though. This was the worst game of the season. The Bills offense was terrible. Worst performance I've seen this season. Josh Allen, oh my gosh. His deep balls were actually good. Here's the thing, he didn't throw a deep ball the whole game. He ran the ball 5 times. I don't know why it was only 5 times, because that was actually working. Devin Singletary got 6 carries. He stunk it up. Stephon Diggs actually wasn't that bad. He had a pretty good game. They were awful, though. Their defense even had a good game. I gotta admit, their defense played really good. I gotta give them a plus there. They only gave 9 points. The Jags offense gets a minus. I don't know what to say. Trevor Lawrence, he just was really conservative. Carlos Hyde, he was, The Jags defense, though, gets an absolute plus. Both offenses stunk. It's kind of what you expected for a defensive battles game when you look at the score. But the Jags defense was better. They got 2 picks, 3 sacks. The Bills just were stopping them. It wasn't the fact they were getting turnovers like the Jags were. That's the reason they got field goals. The Jags offense was awful, though. Oh my gosh. I think they might have been even worse. They just didn't turn over the ball. Dolphins, Texans, this game was a stinker. The Texans offense, I don't know what to say. Like, Tyrod Taylor's interception in the end of the game kind of, just showed it. He was awful. Tyrod Taylor is really bad. Yeah, you look at the stat line, yeah, you can just say it like that, but his footwork was all over the place. Not that his mechanics were bad, it was just they were breaking down as his footwork got all over the place. He wasn't great. Brandon Cooks only got 10 targets. He only caught 6 of them. They were pretty bad. Their defense wasn't too bad, though. They were pretty good in the run game. They got a couple turnovers. They did get 1, 2. They got 4 sacks. I'll give them an underscore. They weren't perfect. Because if they got a touchdown, it would have been different, but they didn't, so I can't really give them that. Jacoby Brissett played. That was another factor. He wasn't very good. The Dolphins' offense was pretty bad. I'll give them an underscore. They were okay. They just weren't very good. Dolphins' defense is awesome. They finally showed up. They had 3, 4, 5 sacks, 3 picks. I think they forced a fumble. They were pretty good. They got a plus. This game was super boring, though. This was almost as bad as the Jags-Bills game. Okay, now we're going to a more entertaining game, the Raiders-Giants game. This game was really good. The Raiders were pretty bad offensively. They were not good at all. That's why they signed Deshaun Jackson. Derek Carr was just showed again. I am not a good runner. I wouldn't say he's as bad as Big Ben or Jared Goff, but he can't really run. He wasn't awful. He just wasn't very good. Bryan Edwards was not getting open. Darren Waller had some big catches. They ran the ball really well, though. It wasn't like the running game was gone. I don't know why they just didn't keep running well. Bryan Edwards was not getting open. That's all I have to say. He was not getting open. They're getting a minus. They put up 16 points against a defense. The Raiders' defense, though, they weren't awful. They were pretty good. They had 3 sacks. They just didn't force a turnover. They were pretty pedestrian. I'll give them an underscore. They played well enough for their team to win. Their defense has played a lot better this year. I got to give them that. Giants offense, they weren't very good. I'll give them an underscore. They weren't as bad as they were a couple weeks ago, but they weren't great. Their defense, though, was awesome. I'll give them a plus. They pressured Carr. They did not stop the run, but they had a couple big interceptions by Xavier King. They had a sack, but a lot more pressure. So that's the end of that game. So now we're gonna go to the late games, or this one isn't at the latest game, but of the afternoon windows before we get into prime time. Chargers Eagles. This game, it was actually a pretty good, entertaining game. Like, Justin Herbert had a nice touchdown run. He had a really good game, like really good. 32 of 38, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. They ended up winning. The Eagles go forward to 3-6. Chargers are 5-3. The Eagles' defense was pretty bad. Their offense was okay. But the Chargers' offense, no turnovers at the end of the yeah, they get a plus. They put up 27 points. They weren't anything special, really, but they weren't bad. This is what I have to say. The Chargers' defense didn't get it done. They're getting an underscore, though, because they made up for it with big plays. They made a lot of big plays. I'll just put it that way. They made a lot of big plays. So they get an underscore. Not in terms of picks, but they made some huge tackles. They had a sack, but they had some big tackles at the end of the game. Eagles offense, they weren't bad. Like, Jalen was just not very good. 11 of 17, 160 yards, touchdown. They just didn't throw the ball that much. But it's because they ran the ball so well. Like, all these guys, over 4 yards per carry. That just shows it. Devonte Smith literally was the receiving game. That's all I have to say. He had a good game. They get a plot. Their offense gets an underscore. Like, it was a good game. Wasn't awesome. Like, looking at the running game for the Chargers, it wasn't anything special, but it still wasn't enough for them to get done. The Eagles' defense wasn't great, but I'll give them an underscore. They did enough for the Eagles to win. The Eagles' offense just didn't do enough. Eagles played okay. Chargers played a little better. That's the reason they won. Okay, the Cardinals are the best team in the NFL in terms of record. In my opinion, they're not the best team in the NFL at this very moment. Are they? Probably, yeah, but there's a team that's a little hotter right now. We'll get in there in a couple minutes. But for the Cardinals, I said for the Cardinals, they won. They're 8-1 now. They won 31-17. 49ers go to 3-5. I don't know what to say. If they lose to the Rams, their season's over on Monday Night Football. The Rams need the game. So do they. More. It's a must-win. They lose, they're done. But Colt McCoy was perfect, basically. And when he just threw screen passes the whole game. Try not to rely on screen passes in the run game. They did rely on the run game the whole game, and the screen passes just came. And it worked, so I can't really say anything else. Christian Kirk, though, he really stepped up. He had a couple of huge catches for them. James Conner had it was like a 40-yard touchdown on our screenplay. They're getting a plus. They put up 31 points on the back of quarterback. I don't really know what else to say, but good. Clifton Kingsbury was good. Their defense, they had, let's see. Oh, yeah, when Marcus Golden, not an edge rusher, has 3 sacks, and you have 5 total sacks and an interception, I make the conclusion you get a plus, obviously. For the 49ers offense, run the darn football. Yeah, they did run the darn football. So, yeah. Good job. They did run the darn football. 8 times. No, 11 times. But Jimmy Garoppolo was really good. Except he threw a pick in the red zone at the end of the game. So that kind of killed him. They did not run the ball a lot. I'll give them that underscore. Like, they did only score 17 points, but they were moving the football, so that was good. George Kittle, first good game of the season by him. Brandon Ayuk finally got involved. Deebo Samuel stepped back for a second. So, yeah, I liked how they played. It was just a pick in the end of the game that kind of put a sour taste in their mouth. But they just had some really long down plays, kind of like a team we're about to talk about. Either way, 2 sacks for the Cardinals, Niners defense. They're getting a minus. You can't give up 31 points to a team that is that injured. I don't care if they're the best team in the NFL. Okay, this game, America's Game of the Week, this was not America's Game of the Week. This was almost as bad as the Texans-Dolphins game and the Jags-Bills game. What the heck was this? I have no idea. 13-7 was the final. Chiefs have a winning record for the first time since week 1. Packers fall to 7-2, which isn't really an insult considering you had a terrible quarterback, Jordan Love. Look at his stats. They really aren't that good, but they really aren't that bad either. They look average. He didn't play average, though. He played terrible. Kind of simple. Run the ball 25 plus times. They ran the ball 12 times with Aaron Jones. What the heck were they thinking? I really don't know. Matt LaFleur just doesn't know how to do. Like, they didn't do any play. Their play action was bad. The guys weren't getting open. Well, Devonte Adams was getting open. But he didn't really get any yardage. Allen Lazard had a big touchdown in the game. Checkdowns, they weren't really taking checkdowns. That's kind of what killed them. You think of A.J. Dillon with those screens at the end of the first half. Either way, they get a minus. They were pretty bad. You can't score 7 points and expect to beat the Chiefs. Even if the Chiefs are terrible. Packers defense, they get a plus. They gave up 13 points. You're not gonna get a bad grade when you give 13 points. Yeah, they probably would have won the game if they got that third down stop, but they didn't. Chiefs offense was awful. They couldn't move the ball. Like, Mahomes was just taking checkdowns, which I'm fine with. If he's not turning the football over and they're not struggling, they were struggling, but they can't run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball all season, and it's really hurt them. Well, other than week 3 against the Chargers or week 5. No, it's whatever. They had 2 week stretch where they actually were able to run the football. Oh yeah, I forgot. It was against the Chargers and Eagles. I'm not surprised. Either way, Mahomes was just that's all I have to say. He wasn't great. He was pretty inconsistent. They didn't run the ball great. The defense though really stepped up. They had a sack, a pick. Best game of the season. Best game in probably the past couple of years for them. They had a plus. Even if it gets Jordan Love, I don't care. They were really good. Okay, now we're gonna go to the shocker, if you call it, the week. No, there were a couple other shockers, but anyway, the Titans dominated the Rams. I'm joking, they did not dominate the Rams. Their defense dominated the Rams' offense. Titans' offense was pretty bad. I would want to say they basically had 7 points. These are the worst officials ever, in my opinion. They were pretty bad. Ryan Tannehill, look at these stats. They're pretty awful. He was not good. They couldn't run the ball. Devonte Freeman got 5 carries. He's the only one running the ball good. They're getting a minus. Yeah, they literally were bad. They were not good. They were better than honestly, the Rams' offense was probably better than they were. But the defense had 5 sacks and 2 picks. I'm gonna count them as having basically they scored 2 touchdowns. They basically scored more touchdowns than their offense did, which is kind of a problem. Their defense was just amazing, though. Kevin Byard, one of the best. I honestly think he could be the best safety right now. Not talent-wise, but playing like it. Jeffrey Simmons is a beast, too. Like, I knew that. I watched his film for a while. The guy has so much potential. Is he, like, great, crazy good? No, but he's a good player. Rams' offense was awful in the first half. It wasn't much better in the second half. It was a little better, just not that much better. Final score is 28-16, if anyone cares. Rams are now 7-2. They fall to that. Titans are going up to 7-2. They've won 5 in a row. That's going to influence the power rankings tomorrow. Either way. Matt Stafford, first half was awful. Second half was like 294 yards, touchdowns, 2 picks, 31 of 48. It just wasn't great. They abandoned the run game. I'm going to keep putting in the Rams' keys to the game to run the football until they start doing it again. Because the Rams are going to have to run the football. I know as much as they want to pass it, they're going to have to keep running the football. Because the play-action motion scheme doesn't work if you can't run the football. Or they don't run the football. So if they run the football, they'll be better. Their offense wasn't good. Their defense, though, was awesome. Yeah, Cooper Kupp honestly had a really good game, but they were really containing him. They always had 2 guys there when he got the ball. Robert Woods had a couple of huge catches, though, for them at the end of the game. Their defense was absolutely amazing, though. They had 3 sacks and a pick. It was a lot of physical play. They can play like this against the Niners next week, and the Rams' offense isn't absolutely horrific. I think they're good. Either way, we got the Monday Night Football game today at 8:15. Should be a good game. Either way, like and subscribe. Hope you enjoy. Let's get ready for Week 10.